Coach, obviously it's a long season. I know people look for, there's rumors and speculation. I know you've kind of addressed it, but some have suggested this might be your last year. I know you kind of talked about it yesterday. Are you feeling good? It sounds like you're.
Yeah, I'm feeling fine, Shay. I appreciate your concern.
Well, no, I don't want to.
No, I feel fine. A lot of things out there that all it takes is for one person to say it, and then it's you guys' job to follow up on that one person. Yeah, but I wouldn't believe what the social media or the internet is saying. I actually feel pretty good, and I'm really excited about the next, hopefully few weeks, whatever it be.
And then Saturday, you guys wrapped up the 3 seed. You could play 3 different teams. I'm just wondering how you guys have gone about approaching this week and kind of how you handle everything.
Well, we have whoever's got a Colorado's got Colorado. Whoever's got Okie State's got Okie State, and KT's got TCU, and we'll approach them all like they're the next game, and scout tonight's game hard, and then we'll scout tomorrow night's game hard, and probably practice with the team more in a general thing where they're not really knowing who we're practicing for or whatever. It'll be mainly if somebody does something unique, we'll certainly go over that. But for the most part, it's who we are, and maybe add a couple of things. But we played Oklahoma State semi recently, but we haven't played the other 2 recently, so that's almost like a different season. So we'll definitely study them hard. But for the most part, it's haze in the barn, so to speak, with the teams in our league. We'll tweak, but I don't think TCU or Colorado or Oklahoma State's going to come out and say all of a sudden we're only going to play triangle and 2, or something like that.
Building off of Shay's point about speculation of your future, is that something you have to deal with in recruiting at all at this point?
No. The only people that asked me about is you guys. Or when I say you guys, the media. But no, I haven't had to address it one time with anybody.
You mentioned on your show yesterday, you talked about getting a chance to go over there and practice on the court. I guess first of all, just how did you decide that was an important thing for you guys to squeeze in before the tournament got started? I
think Brandon helped us with that, because he said if he was me, he would get over there early because it's a little bit different. And then I actually talked to the brass in the Big 12 office, and they said they thought it was a good idea to do the same thing too. So, and I think it was. I mean, the floor was fine, but it did seem a little different from a traction standpoint as what maybe majority of the courts are in our league.
Is there anything you have to do differently when you encounter a court that has less traction or whatever? Do you have to make any adjustments? I don't know.
No. I mean, what if football players wear a longer cleat or something like that? We can't do that, but we can put some slip knot on the bottom of our shoes every time out or whatever, if it is even an issue. I think a lot of that's in your head too.
I'm curious, with Flory winning Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, what was your reaction to that? And in terms of Flory's game, where do you feel like he's taken the biggest steps forward to be able to claim that award, where the other coaches in the league think he is the best defensive player?
When you say to win that award, in the biggest steps, I would say staying disciplined and understanding to play to his length rather than play to gamble. And I think he's done a much better job with that, much better.
Melvin talked about being surprised that Trey didn't get much recognition. Were you
He didn't
surprised?
get any. Yeah. The way it's set up, and there's nothing wrong with it, because when you have 16 teams in your league, there's a lot of guys. But if I'm not mistaken, 10 on first team, 5 on second, 5 on third. Is that right? Or is it?
There ended up being 6 on one because of a tie.
Okay, so with that being said, so there was 16 guys that could win first or second team, and there was not a third team. Am I understanding that correctly, Chris?
There wasn't 13, and then there was honorable mention.
Okay, so there was 21 guys that could be recognized. on first, second, and third team. And the only way you can be recognized as an honorable mention person is for one coach in the league puts you on first, second, or third team. Does that make sense to you guys? So there had to be one coach in our league think that he was a top 20 or top 21 player in our league. Am I right on that, Chris?
Yes.
And it's disappointing to me that nobody did, because to me he for sure is. But you get to 80 starters in a league, and I mean, how many guys from Arizona on a team that dominates the league actually deserved at least recognition? I think you can make a strong case for I'll mispronounce his name, Korchikov. Is that right? Korchikov. And did he make honorable mention?
No, I not think so.
And how could he not be an honorable mention guy when people are talking about he's one of the best 5 defenders in America? So my point, the point is that somebody's going to get left off. I think it's unfortunate it was Trey, because I thought he deserved better. But the reality of it is, when you have outside observers that don't see it through the same lens that we do, it would be hard not to have one coach out of 15 not believe he's a top 20 player in the league. And I think that's what needs to happen for you to be honorable mention.
Bill, has Jacques Vaughn had the type of impact on this team that you hoped he would have when you brought him here this summer?
Yeah. Jeremy is our associate head coach. People have gotten that confused because Jock's been here, and obviously with his experience, and because he coached the game at Colorado. And to be honest with you, we didn't really talk about who was going to finish the game at Arizona State. I didn't really have that window of opportunity between getting tossed and walking by the huddle on the way out to have a staff meeting. But he's been great. Yeah, he's been great. My whole staff has been great. Jock is very, very skilled and does an amazing job with our guys.
You guys will be busy the next few weeks, and you've been doing this a long time, but do you still get excited for this time of year? Do you coach differently? Do you approach things differently, or how do you go about kind of getting ready for this, and is it still an enjoyable
Shay, just so you know, if it's not, then I would quit.
Right.
Okay, so it's the best time of year. March is the best time of year for me. If you're going to ask favorite months of the year, March would rank ahead of Christmas, ahead of December for me, just because of this is what we love to do and live for and everything. So yes, I find a ton of enjoyment, and hopefully I will coach better and certainly energized to do whatever I have to do and whatever our staff needs to do to prepare our guys. But it's the most fun time.
Back to the awards real quick. What'd you make of Darren and how people kind of landed him on that second team? Can you remember that happening very often, where it's kind of an incomplete resume and where to put a guy and you've had to make that decision yourself?
Probably. I don't know that I remember one. To be honest with you, I thought it was fair.
Yeah.
I thought, when he's right up there, there's no doubt he should be on the first team, but he probably hadn't played enough to probably people to see the consistency or whatever to do that. So I thought everything about it was fair, and I actually was happy for Flory and Mel and everything. I thought the only thing that it's to me that was disappointing was obviously Trey, and not that it's a big deal. I just thought he deserved a little better.
Darren still he's viewed as the top pick in the upcoming draft, but with Flory, especially with the honors that he got recently, do you have any sort of idea on what you think the kind of decision he's going to have to make after this season, whether he turns pro, comes back, or anything like that? Have you given any thought to Flory?
Yeah, I've given thoughts. There's things out there that I have heard based on some reports that this could be his last game here or whatever. Yeah, it could be. He could go pro. But I'm not concerned about anything else, if that's what you're asking. I also think this, folks, everybody has an agent. And everybody's agent is, if not shopping, is putting feelers out there about whatever. And that could be done by an agent just to try to get a better deal at the school that you're at. So there's way too much read into a lot of this stuff. Not saying it can't be true, but the reality of it is a lot of stuff takes place without players actually knowing about it. The other thing is, to your point, which I think is a good one, you said with the postseason awards and that kind of stuff, I think that plays this much into whether or not a guy's a pro or not. You want your guys to win that stuff because it's individual recognition and certainly applauds their efforts and all that stuff. But trust me, there's not one NBA team that's looking at, oh, wow, we should maybe go on him or look at him differently because he was this or that within his league. I don't think it works like that. I think those guys are pretty skilled at identifying and knowing what they're looking for. And I think what other people think about them, i.e., media coaches, postseason awards, I don't think has much or anything to do with how high a guy could get drafted. But I'm certainly fired up that Flory received what I thought should be his, because to me he's the most versatile and best defender in our league, and there's some other good ones too.
Is TCU the hottest team in the league entering the tournament?
I think they have the best record over the last 9 games of any team entering the tournament. And they won 8 of 9.
I think so.
Yeah, so you can make a strong case for that. So much of those stats are also based on, well, who'd you play in the last 9? We could, a team could say, well, they're only 3-2 in their last 5. Well, the 2 losses are at Houston by 5 and at Arizona by 3. Then it looks a little bit different. But I think TCU has played as well as anybody in the last month, without question.
What do you think of your side of the bracket?
Well, I to be honest, I think it's really good. If in fact TCU is the hottest team in the league, which I think they are, it's obviously a tough side. And you look at the other side, God, man, you got 2 top 14 or 15 teams on the other side in a quarterfinal game, possibly. So any way you look at it in this league, I think both sides are going to be considered to be tough sides. But the reality of it is regardless of where we are, we'd be excited about going over there and trying to put our handprint on this deal in Kansas City.
What about seeding? What do you have to do over there to get, and what is your ultimate best scenario for a seed?
Oh, I don't know, Gary. I think if whoever wins the tournament could potentially, unless it's Arizona, but whoever wins the tournament could potentially move up at least 1 line or 2 lines. And then if you get to the finals, and does that move you up 1 line? I don't know. If you win 1, lose 1, does that keep you where you're at? I don't know the answer to that, but I would say going into it, we'd be probably on that 4-5 could go either way seed line right now, the way I look at it.
You guys?
Yeah. Don't you guys think the same thing?
I thought 3 was in play.
I didn't say, yeah, I said going into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, going into it. Yeah. I think as of today, I think right at that 4-ish, 5-ish edge would probably be where we'd be at.
Finally, what about with the reports of the airplanes not being available as much, do you think you could stay close to home? Because it's hard for the NCAA to get private planes.
To get charter planes?
Yeah.
Because of what's going on in the world nobody in my administration has come to me and told me that. So that may very well be true. So if that's the case, I would be good with that. If where would that put us? Possibly St. Louis or Oklahoma City. Yeah, I'd be great with either one of those. Hopefully that's the case.
All right, thanks, Coach.
I didn't know that there's been an announcement on that. Has there been an
Somebody
announcement
wrote something
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah, having trouble with it. Yeah.
about